Walt Disney Company shaking up its boardroom yet again. Former Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman set to become chairman of Disney's board early next year. One of the board's biggest decisions will be naming CEO Bob Iger's successor, which Gorman revealed will happen early in 2026. Joining us now is Alex Weprin, media and business writer at The Hollywood Reporter. And thank you for joining us here. So this is all about succession, but maybe you can go into some of the nuances.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's really no question that the elevation of James Gorman to chairman is really about figuring out who is going to succeed Bob Iger, especially because Gorman just led a pretty successful succession himself at Morgan Stanley. Disney never officially said that they were planning to kind of name his successor in 2025. However, I think that was the expectation in the entertainment industry. And so the fact that they're saying that they plan to do it in early 2026 does imply that they're a ways away from figuring out who the right person is that can succeed Iger, given his track record as CEO.
And Alex, they say here, so they're going to announce a successor in early 26, but he's not going to leave until I think the end of 2026. Is the point? I mean, does that timeline kind of make sense to you? Is the point there? Listen, Iger thinks this should be kind of slow and steady.
What Iger's been telling people is that whenever they identify his successor, he wants to stick around to kind of help guide them, to help them learn the ropes, because it's really impossible for any new CEO to understand all the different parts of Disney. You've got the theme park business, which is, hugely spread out across the world. They've got, tens of thousands of employees. It's really operational in nature. And then you've got the entertainment side of the business, which is much more functional on kind of developing content and IP. And so it's going to be impossible to find someone that has the experience in both areas. So they want Iger to kind of help guide them, mentor whoever the eventual successor is to help them succeed.
Alex, succession has been such a tumultuous issue here at Disney. Iger comes back in 2022 for an initial period. After his hand-picked guy, Bob Chapek, is ousted, then the contract gets extended. I mean, do we think this time it's for real? He's really going to retire in 2026?
That's what he's telling people, but he said that before. I think the expectation is yes. This is his actual retirement. He does want to leave. He wants to leave a good impression. The fact that he failed last time, the fact that Bob Chapek didn't work out and he had to come back, I think he views that as a real stain in his reputation, and he wants to make it right. I don't think he's going to come back a second time. I think this is going to be it. And I think that's why perhaps they're taking so long, is that they really want to make sure they get the right person this time.
We've heard from activist investors before. I'm just wondering how you think they're reacting to this latest news. Do we think that they're kind of blessing this arrangement? Do they want an accelerated time frame? Anything along those lines?
I mean, Iger's return definitely boosted Disney's stock, especially in the early days. They've had a rough year, just the theme parks are slowing down a little bit. We're seeing that at both Universal and Disney, so it's not just a Disney thing. The fact that they kind of pretty easily beat Nelson Peltz earlier this year suggests to me that I don't think there's going to be real activist pressure on Disney in the near term. However, if they're not able to execute on a succession plan, if it seems like it's going to drag out longer, I would not be surprised if activists return.
Any thoughts, Alex, on who might take the reins from Bob Iger here? I mean, the four division heads reportedly competing here.
Yeah, look, internally, the two names that keep popping up most frequently are Dana Walden, who's the co-head of the film and TV studio, and Josh D'Amaro, who runs the theme parks and experiences business. You've got Jimmy Pitaro at ESPN. He's also in the mix. Asad Ayaz, I've heard, he's the CMO. So there are, at least a handful of internal candidates. Any one of them could theoretically succeed Iger. They may want to get some more hands-on experience in different parts of the company. Externally, it's a lot harder to say. Do you go to another entertainment company and choose an entertainment executive? Do you try and find an operational executive that can kind of run the operations in the theme parks? So there's different ways to approach it. But internally, Pitaro, Walden, D'Amaro, those are kind of the names that you're really hearing.
We had time for one more, and I'll give you the floor. Anything we didn't touch on here that you'd just like to get out there?
Look, Disney is probably the most important company in the entertainment business outside of Netflix. And so, I think people are watching really closely how the succession process plays out, because after all, if they do go with an internal candidate like a Walden or D'Amaro, there's a good chance that the person or people who don't get the job, they may be looking elsewhere. So it could actually lead to succession drama at other companies after this one plays out.
Alex, great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for your time and insight. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me.